Alright guys, so here in this package is a Nintendo 3DS that I bought from Wish.com. So I bought a DSi from Wish.com a while back, basically the same situation as this one. They called it new, it clearly was not new, it had a knockoff case and a crappy knockoff case at that. So we're going to open this thing up, see what they actually sent me. So just some details, I paid about $135 for this, which is not a good price. I mean, I bought this a while ago, so I think prices were a little bit steeper then, but $135 is pretty steep for a 3DS. Now they did say it came with some built-in games. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's just emulators or if they actually included pre-downloaded 3DS games. Not sure, but we're gonna find out. So here we go. We got our bubble wrap. We got some other stuff here, and it gives us some instructions on game installation. So open FBA, select SD. So I guess they got some games on the SD card. We'll look at these instructions later once we open it up. And then here looks like some screen protectors. And then you got a big bubble wrap package, and kind of like the DSi that I bought, they included some random stickers that you can put on the outside of it, so that's interesting. They also included a little case, which they did not do that with the DSi, so that's interesting. Just a little sleeve. So I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but on the sleeve it says new Nintendo 3DS, and I forgot that Nintendo made a 3DS that was called the new Nintendo 3DS. Now by new, they're not referring to a console as being brand new, but just kind of like the new version, and so maybe that's what they're referring to in the wish listing, because on the wish listing it said new console, and the way they said it, it made it sound like it was like a brand new console in the box, which I know is not true coming from Wish. So maybe they were actually referring to it being the new version of the 3DS. I mean, I hope so, because it was a little bit expensive. And like I mentioned earlier, I also bought a DSi from Wish.com. Kind of the same situation as this. They wrap it in bubble wrap and orange tape, and they also called that one new, but I don't think there's actually a new version of the DSi. I don't know why they called that one new, because it clearly was not a new console. It was just like a refurbished or something, and they put a fake casing around the outside, or knockoff casing, whatever you want to call it. It was pretty crappy casing though. And then here we go, we got this 3DS here. So if we zoom in, we got a little power brick, pretty standard. Then we got a clear case, and this case also has a few things in it. We got a USB drive, that's interesting. And then we also have a USB-A to mini USB cable. I'm not sure what that's for. And then we got a little stylus, I think, maybe, I don't know what that is. Yeah, so they included kind of a fancy little stylus, 2 of them actually, and also a little strap. So that's actually kind of nice. And the funny thing is, the fake items that come from Wish.com are always trying to imitate Nintendo. They get pretty close. Like you can look at this Nintendo DS logo here, and it looks really close, right? But it's clearly just a little bit off. You can tell. I'll throw up a Nintendo logo on the screen so you can compare, but it's pretty close, but not quite. But yeah, so I guess this is just like a protective casing you can put around the 3DS if you want to. And then it looks like they rehoused it. And if it's anything like the DSi, they put a really crappy housing on it, which that's what I'm expecting here as well. And here we go. So it actually looks fairly nice. We got kind of a gradient red on the top, a little bit darker at the bottom, a little bit brighter at the top. And here in the back, it's just a brighter red. That's kind of an odd combo. I do know I bought red from them, but like it's kind of like a burgundy on the front and just like a straight fire red on the back. I don't think the 3DS ever had an official color combo like that. I know they had red, but not quite like that. And you can already feel, it just feels poorly made. I mean, it's wiggling around in there. Open it up, and the latch, it wiggles back and forth some, which is typical. That's kind of the same thing that happened with the DSi that I bought. It's just, it's not great. And then they always put these little films over the screen to protect them, which makes sense, but it's like somebody just took some scissors out of a long piece and cut them apart. Usually these things are manufactured and cut to size and fit perfectly over the screen, but not the case here. I just find that funny. But I mean, yeah, these buttons are super shallow. Let's go ahead and take these screen protectors off, or not protectors, but these little screen films, and hopefully they come off cleanly. All right, so apparently I already clicked the power button. Let me turn that off, and we'll try to peel this off real quick. Now on the DSi, when I did this, it pulled the entire screen off. It didn't pull the digital part off, but it pulled like the whole part that covers the screen, because it sticks on there so tightly. So top screen is good. Let's try the bottom screen. All right, bottom screen is tight as well, but fortunately it did not pull anything off. And here we are. So here's the console. So before I officially turn this on, let me just kind of inspect this thing. So got the joystick, a little bit wiggly. I haven't played a 3DS in a while, but I think that's typical with most joysticks. That's normal. D-pad feels okay. Select, home, and start. They look off a little bit. I mean, this is how it always happens. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, the font is just off. It's close, but the A, X, Y, and B the power just look off just a little bit. And the funny thing is, let me zoom in on this. So here's the thing that happens on all these consoles, and I always find it funny. If you look at A, B, Y, and X, those are all in the right places, but like the X is off center, the B is off center, the A is kind of crooked, the Y is crooked. It's just the craftsmanship is not there like it is with real Nintendo products, so I just find that funny. So looking at the back of the console, it actually looks pretty good. This logo right here, Nintendo 3DS, actually looks really accurate. I'll throw a logo up on the screen that shows the same logo, the official one, but it's pretty accurate, at least more accurate than I've seen in the past. But the ones that are odd is these little Nintendo logos down here. It's just like, it's in bold text, and the letters kind of run together, which is not the case with the real logo. And yeah, it's kind of like that with all these letters here. They kind of run together. So it's just like, I mean, they're really good at copying it, but it's just off a little bit. So one other thing I mentioned earlier that I forgot about. So I showed you guys a sleeve that said new Nintendo 3DS. Now clearly this is not the new one. The new one has like a C stick right here, and these buttons are different down here, and just the layout is a little bit different. So this is like the original 3DS, so I'm not sure why they called it new. I think they were indicating that it's a brand new 3DS, which we all know that's not true. They just took a 3DS and put it in their crappy housing. And one other thing to mention is these buttons are pretty shallow. I think in general the 3DS buttons are a bit shallow, but these are like extra shallow. Like it's really hard to click because they're so shallow to the case. And yeah, I mean, these buttons down here just look off. They look kind of janky. And yeah, it's always interesting to see these consoles and see how accurate they get them, but they're just off a little bit. So before we get into it, I want to tell you a little bit more about my channel. First of all, if you enjoy my videos and want to see more, make sure to subscribe down below. It only takes 2 seconds to do it, and it really helps out my channel. Secondly, if you hit the join button down below, you'll be able to support my channel through channel memberships. This is 100% optional, but it really helps out my channel, and you'll get a few perks out of it as well. Right now I have 4 membership levels, with the cheapest starting at the Warrior level for 99 cents. With this level, you'll get a shout out in the description of each future video, and I'll also friend request you on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. With the Master level, which is $1.99, you'll get the same perks plus early access to new videos. I also have 2 more levels with additional perks that'll let you explore on your own. And last but not least, I also have my website called jrupgaming.com, and on this website, I sell consoles, games, accessories, and merch. I'm continuing to expand my merch, but right now I have t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers, hats, and personally my favorite is the Champion backpack. And like I said, I also sell consoles, games, and accessories here, most of which have been featured in my videos at some point. I try to sell everything at a price that's a bit lower than eBay, plus you can use some pretty good discounts on my store, and right now if you sign up for my email list, you'll get a code for 15% off your first purchase. And on top of that, you'll be the first to hear about any additional discounts in the future. Alright, so we've taken a look at this case. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on and make sure it all works and everything. Alright guys, so the console turned on and the 3D seems to be working. I know I can't really show that on camera. I'm going to look at it myself closely and tell you how it looks. Alright, yeah, so I tested out the 3D a little bit. It does work fine, but the slider over here is pretty crappy. It gets kind of stuck in the middle and stuff. I'm not sure what else to say about it, but it's kind of crappy. And I noticed when I was turning down the volume that we got an SD card slot over here, which they do have an SD card in here, and they got a pretty crappy cover, which doesn't close all the way, as you can see. And yeah, so we do actually have some games on here. They weren't lying, so that's nice. Let me go ahead and see if I can turn the brightness up and we'll take a look at everything. So apparently my brightness is all the way up already, so hopefully you guys can see this well. But let's kind of take a look at what we got here. So we got, what was that? FBI. What is this? Is this like a little indie game or something? I don't know. So it looks like basically a file manager for the SD card they have in here. I'm not sure why they call it FBI. I'm sure that stands for something. If I figure it out, I'll throw it up on the screen. But it... check for FBI updates. It's just kind of funny. I don't know. Why is it called FBI? All right. We also got the Nintendo eShop. We got Yoshi's New Island. We got Batman 2. We got Mario Party Island Tour. We got Cooking Mama 4. We got The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. We got Super Mario 3D Land, AR games that comes with it. Title Manager. Okay, so here's maybe another little app they included where you can view all the games. Yeah, so this seems similar to the other thing I was just looking at, kind of like a file manager, and you can see some of the details. We'll go back and check out everything else. Got the camera, you got Face Raiders, Spider-Man, you got Ice Age, Cars 2, Captain America. You got a Japanese game that I can't read. You got Super Mario Bros. 2, Activity Log, Sound, Me Maker, Download Play, Mario and Sonic at the Rio games, Farming Simulator 14, Ben 10, Pokemon, System Settings, and Me Plaza. So we actually got some solid games on here. It kind of seems like a random assortment. I mean, you got some pretty standard games on here like Mario Party, Yoshi's New Island, Super Mario 3D Land. But then you also have random games like Batman, Cooking Mama, Ice Age. I mean, I'm sure they're all good games, but they're kind of it's kind of just a random assortment. So let me go ahead and just power this thing down real quick and take a look at the card they included in here. We'll get a closer look at it. So it's just got an adapter, and it's actually got a 64 gig card in there. So hopefully my camera is focusing on this SD card. I'm not sure if it is, but I just took this out of the 3DS, and it's got a SanDisk Ultra SD card in there, 64 gigs. Now the colors on this thing look a little off, so it's probably fake. I'm not sure if they actually fake SanDisk Ultra SD cards. I know they make kind of like knockoff ones, but this one they actually copied exactly how it looks. I don't know, the colors just looked off, so I have a feeling there's something going on there. So another thing to mention is I just checked parental controls to make sure they weren't enabled. I just found out like last week that the DSi I bought had parental controls enabled, but I never found out. Luckily, the passcode was like 1234, so I was able to disable it pretty easily. That was something that kind of surprised me. And then another thing I'm just checking now that I find interesting is they always make a profile on here. I don't know if this is a profile from the person that originally had this 3DS, or if they just, made something because they had to. But it says username in, date of birth 1/1 from United Kingdom. Who knows if that's a real... I mean, it's not really truly real because nobody's name is in. So I also kind of want to check the Mii Maker to see if they made any interesting Miis. So let's check that out. So apparently no Miis have been made, so that sucks. And also I need to test out the screen, make sure it works. Yeah, it seems to work fine. Let's go ahead and try one of these games out and make sure it works. So let's try something random. Let's go with Ice Age. All right, so here we are. Clearly working. I'll just play this for a minute and let you guys kind of get the Ice Age experience. I couldn't really see what I was doing, so I did pretty crappy. I'm gonna go ahead and try out another game as well. What else we got? We got Super Mario 3D Land. That's a classic. I've never actually played this on the 3DS. I played it on the Wii U a lot back when I played Wii U. Alright guys, there you go. There's some Super Mario 3D Land, and this thing's actually not too bad. I mean, the quality of the casing is not great, but it's actually not as bad as the DSi was. Clearly the lettering and stuff is off a little bit. And just one other thing to point out, as you can see, got some of my lights off. You can see the screen a little bit better, but you can't see the console as good. But actually, for $135, this actually isn't too bad with all the games that are built in. Now, the legality of this is questionable, but that's kind of the deal with all the stuff you buy on Wish. But I am glad that it actually came with some legit games. So one other thing I want to take a look at that we looked at a little bit earlier is these, these stickers here. So those you can actually stick on there. They're pretty low quality, so I don't think I'll do that. Also came with these screen protectors for the screen. So one other thing I want to look back at real quick is this game installation tutorial that we looked at earlier. So I guess this is how you install more games on your console. Looks like basically it's giving you the process of what you do once you open up the game on your console, but I'm assuming you can install some more games by taking this SD card slot or SD card out, putting it in the SD card slot in this little jump drive, put it in your computer, load up some more games that you find legally online, and then load them up on your Nintendo 3DS here. And yeah, so I mean, $135 is not bad for all the games they included. Like I said, the legality is questionable, but that's kind of how it is with most Wish.com stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you think this thing was worth $135. I think it is with all the games installed. If it had no games installed, I think it'd be way overpriced. But I'm still questioning why they call it a new Nintendo 3DS. It's clearly not the new model, and it clearly wasn't new. I mean, the housing is new, but I'm extremely doubtful that they actually used a brand new motherboard and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe down below to see future content. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.